What's up, everybody? This is Cool Dude, and today we have another chill discussion for you. Hope you guys enjoy these series. Today we're going to be checking out, really discussing CGI versus practical effects in movies. And if you don't know what I'm saying, practical effects are basically like animatronics, people in suits, things that are actually there, you know? And CGI is really in the world of the computer. They like animate stuff with computer, technology, and they put it on the screen, make it looking like it's there. So I'm here to talk about which one is truly better, CGI or practical effects in films. But first, let's look at some examples and, basically like the advantages and disadvantages of each side, starting with practical effects. Practical effects, basically, like I said, are anything in a movie that's actually there, like they build models. So, freaking great example is Jurassic Park, but I'll never ever stop loving for the animatronics. Like, they made real-size animatronics, and they made suits to make the dinosaurs look like they're really there. So they made a full T-Rex to make it look like it was real, it was really there, and they made, they made like animatronic feet for the T-Rex to make it look like it was standing on the car in that scene. So that's practical effects. Another good practical effect is anytime in Terminator 2 when the T-1000 was broken, that was actually like, a broken Robert Pattinson that they made, like when he's all melted like this, and his, there's a giant hole right here, like that was a real thing that they made. Or John Carpenter's The Thing, which I probably saw a little too young, but hey, that's an awesome movie, love it. The Thing, every time they made like these weird, disgusting distortions of the human body with eyes and with teeth, that was really there. So practical effects like that. So, what are the advantages of practical effects? Well, for one, they're really there, so it definitely gets up the illusion. Number two, if they're done right, if they're made right, with like the T-Rex and Robert Pattinson's Terminator, it can create a very great illusion that's like there. It's like, wait, that's really there? Why? Like, it plays with our mind. It makes us think that, oh, that's just computer. When we find out that it's CGI, though, we're like, oh my god, like, that's amazing. When we find out that it's all practical, it can look great. Number three, it does allow the actors, in the scene to feel more, like, in the moment, because some actors can't really do, like pretending like they're getting scared or running away from something that's not really there, which is a lot what CGI does. But when you have something physically there, chasing them or looking at them, then they can, easily, create the effect because they're really there. Now, some of the disadvantages, let's say the Terminator movie, which, love it or hate it, it's there. It's a movie. Most people might say Terminator 2 is better, but the Terminator is a fine movie. But I think that the actual practical effect of when Arnold gets damaged looks pretty bad. Like, it doesn't look the greatest. It looks pretty lame. That's a disadvantage of practical effects. Not all practical effects are going to look great. In fact, sometimes they might even look terrible, fake, or just really, really lame. Like, some of the costumes that they might put for movies or the animatronics that they make don't really look convincing, or they're not really there. So that's another disadvantage of practical effects. Another disadvantage of practical effects is that sometimes the movement is massively diluted. Like, say, something like, I don't know, like the Muppets or something. I know it's a really bad example, but just roll with me here. I know they're supposed to be puppets, but let's say, like, they're in a movie and you want more movement with, like, the eyes. Like, I want the eyes to blink a little different, or, like, the hands to move in a certain way. You can't really do that with those sorts of puppets because they're really restricted to that movement of the hands or the mouth. So, practical effects like that. I know I should have picked a better example because the Muppets, I know they're not meant for computers, but I'm just really trying to paint a picture for you of the disadvantages of practical effects. So, I'm saying, like, if, the practical effect itself doesn't really make it, like, allow for a lot more believable mobility or believable looks, then the whole effect of it is kind of diluted in that way. So now we've done over the practical effects side. Let's go on to the computer, the CGI side. Basically, it's anything that's like computer generated into the screen to make it look like it's there and allows for things to like we never saw before in films. So like with Forrest Gump, like they made John F. Kennedy look like he was really there with the power of computer generation. Now, an obvious advantage is that it's a lot faster to make. Like, computer CGI is everywhere, okay? And say what you will about practical effects, whether they're there or not, but CGI is a lot easier for artists to do. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't take a lot of work, because obviously it does to create those images and to move every frame, you know, like, a certain way, but, like, it definitely is easier to, in that regard, like, you're just sitting down, you don't have to make anything, you don't have to really do much, you just are on a computer and you just have to move a couple pixels. Not saying, again, it's super easy, because it is a hard job to do, but I'm saying it's easier in that regard, in terms of the work. And then, another advantage is that, kind of goes with the practical effects, it definitely allows for a lot more mobility in the actual thing. The actual object that you're making, like, say, like a dinosaur. Like, when you have a real-life T-Rex, sure, it can move its head, it can blink, and it can, like, open its mouth, but can it, like, run up to somebody? Or can it, like, you know, like, twist its head a certain way? Or can it, like, really, like, chase after dinosaurs and eat them? No, because it's just a robot. But when it's CGI'd, then it allows it to feel more like it's moving alive, you know? But oftentimes the disadvantage of CGI is that it almost never looks like it's there. I'm not hating on CGI. CGI is awesome, awesome, awesome effect when it's done like beautifully well. Like the freaking android from I don't remember the name of the movie, but it's gonna kill me. But dang it, I don't remember the name of the movie. Okay, I have something in my mind, but I'm not gonna say it right now. But like, let's just say, for instance, like, CGI, like, in Shrek. Like, I know it's fake, but the humans actually look pretty spot on, like, for the most part. I mean, it is animated, so it's not gonna look pretty, but, you know, like, stuff like that CGI, that looks great. It looks believable, and all whatnot. And some of the effects in It Chapter 1, with, you know, like, the headless boy, and, like, the lady in the painting, like, those are just absolutely amazing, and they're so creepy looking. But, you know, sometimes the CGI just looks cartoony and fake, like with Son of the Mask, which, do not watch, it's such a terrible film, or something like, even like Jurassic Park. Not all the effects are there, because it does look a little rubbery at points. It, like, if they don't have time to make it look like it's really, like, there, or, like, when someone's really turning into a werewolf or something, or, you know, something like that, they can't make it look too believable. The fear, or, like, the effect that you're trying to get on an audience is massively diluted, because, you know, it doesn't really look like it's really going on, because it looks so fake. And another disadvantage that CGI has, which I guess practical effects kind of has, is that sometimes it's really overused. Like, let's take, for instance, Star Wars, the prequels. Now, I'm not saying the CGI is bad, because some of the worlds are actually beautiful looking. Like, the city, I don't remember the city, but the city where Padme lives, that, like, or Queen Amidala, whatever, that looks beautiful. Like, sure, it looks a little fake, but it does look nice. But let's take something like the underwater city. Literally, every creature, every land, every water just looks fake. To a point where it looks like I'm playing a video game. So, when you overuse CGI in a film like that, then sometimes, you know, then the effect can wear out in certain points, because this computer generation is just all over the place, and now it's easily noticeable. So, now that we've gone over the pros and the cons of using CGI and practical effects, which one is better? Honestly, I can't really say for sure which one is better, because I honestly think both of them have great strengths and great weaknesses. Obviously, with practical effects, it looks like it's really there, and when they create something that looks believable, it's going to create a massive effect. But at the same time, it can look really dumb and cheesy. You don't have quite the mobility that you have with, like, computer generation. And, you know, sometimes they're just not moving a certain way, or they don't look the right, you know, they don't look in the right sort of direction for that. But at the same time, computer generation allows for a lot more mobility in your image that you're trying to make. And it also, like, when you use it right, like, it's right sparingly in your movies, then it can create an illusion that, you know, it's really there. But when it's overused, it can look pretty bad. When overused in a movie, it can look really bad, in the sense that, you know, you're getting so used to CGI everywhere that you're like, okay, nothing's really there. or when it looks really cheesy and it doesn't look believable, then, you know, it's massively diluted. So I honestly say that none of them are better, CGI or practical effects. I mean, obviously CGI is, like, in terms of being used in movies nowadays, CGI is just crushing practical effects, but I say that CGI and practical effects both have their benefits and their cons that they have, so, you know, I'm going to leave it up to you to decide which one's better, but for me, I think they're equally great together. They each have their own strengths and weaknesses that coincide with each other. So guys, that's going to wrap it up with this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this discussion. I know it's a bit of a movie nerd kind of discussion, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it all the same. And until next time, guys, stay cool, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye, guys.